Good day, everyone. This is Julius Neil Consejo, and I am your host for the 10x AI. So right now with me here, we have a special episode today for the Christmas season. So I have here Robin, and Robin will introduce himself, what he does, and what about his career and his industry. Robin?
Hello, Julius. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. So my name is Robin Carré. I have been working in innovation for the past 7 years. Mostly on the past 4 years, I have been working on the logistics and global supply chain industry. And for the past 3 years, most of my subjects were on AI. So here I am.
Okay. Yeah, so that's why I invited Robin here. He's an expert with logistics, and he integrated a lot of automation and AI also in the logistics. So for our viewers and listeners who doesn't know about the whole value chain of logistics, can you explain? Because for me, I don't know exactly what is the difference between a forwarding and then logistics, and then there's a courier also, right? Can you explain the value chain? What is the whole value chain for a global supply chain logistics?
Yes, for sure. So basically, the idea is supply chain is everything a company needs to get a product from their factory to your doorstep or to another factory for another company. The part that my company is doing is basically everything. You have the first part that is named freight forwarding. So freight forwarding is most companies don't have the means to actually move product from point A to point B. They want to make this move, but they don't have the contacts and don't know exactly how to do it. So basically the idea is you can summarize it as we are a travel agency for containers. The idea is someone need to move goods and us, we organize everything, meaning that, for example, there is a truck that is coming to your doorstep, the boat on which the goods and the containers are charged, the planification of the route, because this is the most complicated part for most of the time is how to make it quicker. So you can either do by boat, so it's mostly a month to cross an ocean, or you can do it by plane, that is basically less than a day. And obviously there is more cost to do by plane, but the idea is that every goods that anybody have at his place is coming from all around the world. I mean, most of it from China, but your t-shirt can come from Pakistan, for example, or from India. And the good what our company is doing is we also have warehouses. We also have boats to our names, and we have all the people that are working there. So some company, for example, wants the whole package, meaning that they don't have anything and provide warehouses. We provide the people that are working there. Some company have warehouses and we provide the people. And some company have everything, but just don't know exactly how to do it. So we are there to organize everything and manage everything. So I think that's a summary.
Okay. Yeah, that's a summary. So there's also a term that I see when it comes to logistics. 3PL, is that 3PL?
Yes.
That's a term that
So
they're using.
3PL is third-party logistics. Third-party logistics is basically only the part where we are doing the freight forwarding. All this world is working is there is companies that own boats, warehouses, and things like that. They are named logistic providers, and 3PL are third-party logistics. So basically, they don't own anything, but they know everybody, so they can organize everything.
Okay, no, so it's clear to me now because whenever I say this, I don't know really what is 3PL, and then every time there's a logistics topic,
Yeah.
they always say 3PL, 3PL. Okay, third party
And
logistics.
there is
Okay, so
also
let's establish it.
4PL.
Yeah.
So the 4PL are basically the company that are there to innovate on the different routes, or basically all the management of everything. And most of the time 3PL is what company are dealing with, and 3PL are dealing with 4PL.
So, okay. So it's really very
Very
fragmented,
complicated, but very interesting.
very fragmented industry and a very challenging when it comes to coordination. So it's a very good, it's a very good pain points that AI can address, right? Can
Exactly.
address because it's very, it's very fragmented and so many stakeholders involved. So going into having AI, why are you interested in AI? What made you interested in AI when it comes to logistics?
So basically, logistics is something that is very old. I mean, you can go back thousands of years where people were moving goods. I mean, you can think about Silk Road, for example, which is the most famous example around the world. And back in the 60s, there is a move from moving from something that is very, let's say, basic and everybody is doing what they want and what they can to something that is more global because we needed to address the worldwide new way of moving goods, right? And so back in the 60s, there was a big move from going from logistics to going to supply chain. So basically, it's a
Mhm.
rebranding on the name, but also on all the things we're working and an old industry, but that's basically right now there was never in history as many goods as right now that are being moved around the world. There is a lot of different players. So there is global one, for example, my company is the fourth larger one, but there is also a lot of smaller one. You can think, for example, in South Asia or in Africa, there is almost one every 100 kilometers. So the idea was to make it more global. And the challenge there is that everything is siloed. I mean, even in large companies, one warehouse have data on what they are doing, what their clients are doing, what the goods are. And most of the time, it's very hard to have it to a global level. Even, for example, an HQ of a company don't know exactly what is happening everywhere. And the problem there is that, for example, someone on a warehouse, I don't know, in Bangalore, for example, have issues that can be related to a company that, for example, is in Reykjavik, but there is no real
Mhm.
way of talking to each other, right? And so this is
Yes.
very, very siloed. And also it's hard to have the knowledge pass from someone to another one. Problem is there. Most of the time is that communication is supposed to be key, but it's not the case. AI is not by itself doing the job there, but the idea is that the key in AI is access to data, right? And right now,
Yes.
the data management, I think in most company, but in supply chain particularly, has not really been done.
Mhm.
It's not the case at
Mhm.
all.
Okay. So what makes AI implementation difficult in logistics?
So basically what I was saying, the real problem is right now, everybody have more or less his own way of working. This is a problem because since it's global and since you need to have goods move across the whole world and people most of the time, I think that basically they order something from China and the next point is having it to his doorstep. It's not the case at all. There is many moving parts, many different stakeholder, many different company in the middle, and AI can't work with fragmented information. And also,
Mhm.
it's talking about people that when they wake up on the morning at 8 a.m., they start working and they start moving goods. And the problem there is that
Mhm.
if they're late for 1 hour, for example, boats can
Yes.
just leave a port or an airplane can just leave. And when is the next one? I mean, who knows? And most of the time, it's very complicated to just change something like that. So you need to be very precise. And this is very complicated. Go on, go on.
So in your projects now, which projects are you focusing on? Like you cannot you just told me it's very siloed, it's very fragmented. So which
Yes,
projects are
yes.
you working on now? that is you think would really have an advantage when you use AI?
So one number. Right now, someone that is working in a warehouse needs, for example, to deal with a client that said, we will send you this day 4 trucks of goods. But when the client is actually contacting to say, okay, today there is 10 trucks that are coming to your warehouse. The problem is that a warehouse is not infinitely extendable, right? And you need to know exactly right now what is on the floor, what need to leave, what will come, and can I accommodate 10 trucks? And the idea there is right now, most of the time you need 45 minutes to get an answer there because you need to contact people on the ground. You need to contact people that are actually in the shelves. You need to get reports. You need to do complicated calculation to be sure that you have the space. And if it's something more complicated, for example, I don't know, something about you will get some very flammable product and the problem, the only space that you have is near something that can explode if it's in contact with flame. So this, you need maybe 3 days to accommodate the new goods, meaning that you need to have people that move actually the good from one place to another to make space, to make safe space, to be sure that, for example, you have all the part of if there is actually a fire, can people leave the warehouse without being endangered, things like that. So basically, this takes 3 business days. What we were working on is implementing AI, so a model that can connect to all this and be able in 25 seconds to tell you, can I accommodate? Can I not? Can I move? Do I need to make adjustment? Do I need to contact the warehouse in 10 kilometers to have this? And we pass from 45 minutes to 3 business days to 20 seconds to get this kind of answer. And this was actually something that we really needed.
Okay. So in your company right now, have you started integrating AI in some processes already?
Yes, yes. So I think right now we are passing from experimentation to real implementation. I think we are not the only one. I mean, AI is not a new technology, right? Everybody know about ChatGPT 3 years ago, but actually it's something back in the 50s, maybe. It's a really old and complicated technology. Right now, we start to have companies that actually pour money there. It's not the first time, but right now it's very serious. The thing that experimentation have been done, and now we need to do implementation. And when I'm saying implementation, the thing is that if I'm developing a project that is not used every day in a warehouse, I failed. So I have a catchphrase, right, that I'm saying when I'm in meetings. If I have a model that is 95% accurate, but with zero utilization, it's a fail. We need to disengage this project.
Okay. So so it means you are saying that still the operational value matters over experimentation.
Yes, experimentation is something for, I don't know, let's say startups and maybe labs. But when you are dealing with something that basically need to provide food, provide clothing, provide computers, provide anything, you need to do something that is actually useful, and you need to have people that are actually using it. The thing is that I think a lot of AI companies are great in the paper, but they are making things more complicated, and it's not what you need to do. If you have a new tool that people need to connect to their old tool plus this one, they will not do it. If you have something that is great on paper because it looks shiny, but people that are actually supposed to use it don't get value from it, it's a fail.
Okay. So you're talking about the legacy systems that being used right now. So how do you think would AI will be able to connect with the legacy one, the traditional systems that you're using? Because it's a problem, because if it's a legacy system that you're traditionally using and then you're putting AI on top of that, and if AI cannot communicate or you cannot integrate that, and AI becomes another process that the people should do. So are you having this some kind of problem also integrating that into the old system?
A lot. You need to understand that around the world, so basically in logistics, we use things named UMS. So it's warehouse management system. And there is also TMS that are travel management system. These are, I don't know, something maybe there is 100 or 200 of these different system, and like one region on the world might choose one and another one, another one. And in the same company, you could have 10, 20, 30 different systems that are doing the same thing, but not exactly in the same ways. So first thing first, you need to harmonize that. So what you do normally is doing data management. And to do that, you need a new layer. And this new layer are customer data platform, basically CDP. And these are very costly, very complicated to do. And since there is different systems that are doing different things, the formats of your information are not the same. So you need to harmonize that. So you need to have data pipelines that are actually working on making everything on the same format. And this you can use to feed your model. But the thing is that when you did that, you spent maybe 3 to 4 years to do that before you implemented the first thing in AI. And I think right now, a lot of companies are doing the two at the same moment because you need to show AI to your investors. I mean, that's the reality of it, right? But the thing is that before showing actual AI result, you need to have this implementation and this formatting of the data. And this is very complicated. And basically, a large company could have started that, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years ago, because it was when this kind of logics were starting to get to top management, and AI accelerated that a lot. But you need to do the two at the same time if you're unlucky, and both of them are very costly.
Okay. Okay. So you already talk about it. You have to talk to the investors. You have to talk to the top management in order for you to be able to move forward. So how do you align the business side and then the technical side when you are presenting to the management and then on the other end to the people who are actually going to use that?
Basically, managing expectation is a key word there. A lot of top management are basically looking at day-to-day data and metrics very rarely. They look at numbers, they look at big investments, they look at big pictures problem. But the guy that is actually waking up at 8 a.m. and his warehouse is like crowded and can't actually function, they have really big problem, but very narrow problem for themselves, right? I mean, the top management is not aware, or he might be intellectually aware, but not really, really aware of what running a warehouse is. And only the small guy knows that. But if the small guy can't do his work, the top management won't get any more money and might even lose customer. And this is a very problematic part, right?
Yes, yeah. When it comes to the customer, are your customers, for example, the businesses already asking you to how can you automate things for them, or how you can integrate AI? Are there customers who are asking you already?
Yes, a lot of customer. What we get, and I think it's not just logistic. I mean, it's everywhere, right? But it's. I saw that your concurrent is doing AI for this, AI for that, and basically your prices are mostly equal to them. But then they promise me that I will have an AI doing, I don't know, something, right?
Mhm.
And when they ask
Yeah.
you, are you doing that? If you say no, you might lose him, right? But if you say yes, you actually have
Yes.
to implement it, right? So this
Yes.
is the
Yes.
complicated part. And I think it's not just logistics, it's everybody, right? You need to know what your
Hmm.
customer wants, what your concurrent are
Hmm.
doing, and mostly align it. This might be a problem because, for example, you don't see value in doing X, but your concurrent is doing it, your customer know about it, and your customer asks you about it. So you have to follow. And
Hmm.
this is complicated because you have a limited budget, right? Even if you're $1 billion company, you can't just, divert 100 million to do a new project because your customer will ask about it next week, right? And anyway, 1 week to do a project is not enough.
Yeah, I know. I understand. So how do you manage that conversation with your customers?
Mostly the idea is to communicate a lot with basically the guys that are actually talking with them, right? I mean, the sales people know their customer, have relationship with them because it's a decision of changing your logistic provider is not something that you do every week. You can't because your logistic provider actually manage a lot of different moving part of your business, and you can create the best product that you want. If you can't get it to your customer, you won't get anything from it, right? You have, I
Yes.
don't know, the best washing machine, for example, but no one can get it and no one will care about it, right? So changing your logistic provider are very complicated, but also a logistic provider need to be sure that his clients are satisfied. And this is also complicated to say the least because customer wants the best for the less possible cost. So you need to provide that. And maybe you can be a little bit more expensive, but then you have to prove that you provide a better service to accommodate the cost.
Yes, correct. So now when it comes to the customer pressure of having to do with AI, and you have to be able to implement that in a way that they're going to help them smoothen all the processes. Now, we need to have also a proof of concept, right? Why why do you think some proof of concepts often fail to scale? Especially here in AI, a lot of companies now are having some troubles when it comes to, or especially the early adopters who implemented AI in their organizations, not only in logistics and different industries as well. And after 1 to 2 years, they know that they're bleeding money and they're not getting the value that they wanted in an AI. Why do you think the proof of concepts often fail to scale?
Basically, most of the time, why you don't scale is because you didn't do the step in the right order. Let me explain that. The idea is that AI is only as good as the data that it can. Right now, everybody is talking about model. Yes, models are great. And the thing is that there is a lot of them. They work fine, most of them, right? And they can do a lot of things. But if you ask a question, for example, to an AI, or you ask an AI to do a task, but the AI is limited in the data that they can get, or the data wasn't properly labeled, or even worse, most of the time, AI is to do with automation, right? You want to automate some processes, but you don't understand really the process. Because if you ask top management to say to a project manager that he need to work with his technical team to automate a process, this is not enough information because there is someone somewhere that is right now doing it manually. And I mean, it's not pretty. It's just, I don't know, feeding some Excel sheets or like creating a report on the day-to-day activity. But this report need to be formatted in a way that everybody can understand, right? And
Yes.
this way of doing it need to be proper. So top management, project manager, and technical team are not enough. You need to have the business involved. And then when I'm saying business, I'm not saying the top management of the system. For example, on a warehouse, there is a warehouse manager. But the warehouse manager is the guy that is reading the report, not the guy that is writing it, right? So you need to go one step down and go to the guy that is actually writing the report. And you need to ask him, where does he get this answer? And where does he get this answer? Some blue collars, a team of 20 guys that almost never connect to a computer, that are moving forklifts around all day, but they actually know exactly how to treat a new trucks, how to take the good from the trucks and in which order, at what speed, where to put it, and things like that. And this is the part where you need to actually go down on the floor and talk to these guys that are not used at all to talk to any IT guy. So you have to go a bit
Yeah.
to their
So
level. Yes, go on, go on.
yeah, they were saying yeah, because they were saying if it's your process is chaotic and you expect AI, to fix that, it's not gonna fix that. AI is not gonna fix that.
Never, never.
It's gonna make things worse for you because it's gonna interpret different things because the data
Yes.
is not ready for it to be able to be implemented as an AI model. So, for example, in this kind of situation, what does value look like beyond automation?
So value look like your tool used every day. Because the idea is that right now, people are doing things fine. I mean, you order something on Amazon, you get it, right? You order something on
Yes.
mostly any site, you will get it. But the way that is done can be very messy, can be really counterintuitive, but it's working right now. If you want to go there and say, okay, now there is a new way of working with AI that will tell you how to get the good in which order, how to actually feed them inside the containers, but it takes them maybe 20 minutes to give the AI the right information. So the AI is like, doing calculation and providing some graphic or whatever to say how to do it. Then in 20 minutes, they could have done the job. So basically, they will not choose your tool. You will say, okay, we spend $1 million to get you this new shiny thing, but it takes 20 minutes to warm up. They will say, yeah, but me in 20 minutes, I put 2 trucks on the road and that's it. It took me 20 minutes to put 2 trucks on the road. Your tool took 20 minutes to tell me how to put just one. I will never use it because they have time constraints.
Mhm.
They have to, I don't
Yeah.
know, 10 trucks per hour. And you tool take 20 minutes to send just one. It's not possible for them. They can't do it because the plane is not waiting, the truck is not waiting, the boat is not waiting. So what you need to do is do something in a way that actually helps them get faster, helps them get better. If you just want to do something because like this, you can say to your customer, yes, we use AI to put trucks on the road. Your customer might be happy, but you will have spent $1 million for no usage. It's money spent for nothing. You would actually burn cash, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are to choose, for example, in your organization, if you are to choose one AI project that you wanted to have quick impact or fast impact, which process is that?
Basically, the biggest problem is forecasting. Let me explain. So basically, normally, your client is supposed to know exactly what is happening to his operation. So he's supposed to know exactly how many iPhone will be sent, for example, this month, right? But the reality is that the guy that is talking with the supply chain provider is the supply chain director of the company. But in his company, the marketing team is not telling him that next week they will send 20% off on this product. So basically, 20% off, people will order more. But the guy that is supposed to be the center of everything for the actual moving of the product is not aware that the marketing team is doing that. So he's not telling you, the supply chain provider, that next week there is 50% increase in volume on this product. So you get surprised by that. And this is the biggest part where AI can help, is that basically you have the information from your customer, but you can also look, for example, on the internet, because the marketing team will have announced it on their website. You can't, as a human being, watch every customer website, but an AI can do it, no problem. And this is just like the most understandable part of what a forecasting is, because, for example, if you have, I don't know, some armed revolt in a country. For example, a few years back in the Suez Canal, there is a boat that was stuck for weeks there. So you had to provide new routes. So everything was late in the whole world, but your customer, the end one, not the company, but the end customer, ordered his iPhone. You said you will get it in 5 days, and finally it's in 5 weeks. This is very, very problematic. But if you have forecasting that is actually looking at all this and that I actually can say to the warehouse manager, okay, don't send the iPhone because there is this event happening, but you can find iPhones that are, idle somewhere in a warehouse near your end customer. Maybe you can take this stock and actually move it. Saying it like that is very easy, right? But when you're thinking about billions of products moving every day, this is very, very, very complicated. And so forecasting for me is
Okay.
something that we don't have
Yeah.
right now, but we need to make it work soon. And it's not the case right now. Let's say that most companies that provide forecasting need still to work on it.
Okay. So it means there are companies now who are providing you with forecasting tools, right?
Yes, yes, there is a lot of them, but some of them are very interesting on paper, but when you actually plug them in very large companies are not. And some of them are very interesting and work fine, but very expensive. So you need to know if this cost is appropriate to do it. And a
Mm-hmm.
large company, I think right now are trying to make them in-house because you're the best
Mm-hmm.
to understand your clients, your activities. And this means that a lot of companies are trying to work in AI and tech when it's not at all what they're doing normally, right? So you need to make people come to your company, work for you. And for example, if you're in the US, you can get crazy salary working on AI projects in the Silicon Valley. So to get this
Mm-hmm.
talent, you actually need to change your HR management because, well, if you want these people to work for you, you need to provide them money to do it. So this is a race, and there is limited number of people that can do it, and every company wants them, right? So competition.
Yes, yes. So based on the lessons learned about this deploying forecasting, how do you think the Gen AI tools will be able to, improve this forecasting softwares or tools that you're using now?
GenAI by itself can do that because the problem is that GenAI is not meant to do that. But the reality is that most of the time, will powerful AI, you need to have some developers that is really good to do it and data manager and a lot of people that are like, data scientists and things like that to actually work the data. And this means that between the guys that need the answer and the answer, there might be 5, 7, 10 layers of people that need to work on this. And they're not working only for you,
Mm-hmm.
they're working for the whole company. With GenAI, there is a natural language processing there. And basically, the guys that don't know anything about computer except how to open and read an Excel file now can
Mm-hmm.
talk directly to a computer. So GenAI is there to basically replace that. But the reality is that you need to have agents, right? AI agents are the bread of this thing is that you have very specialized model that are following very specialized data. And on top of that, you have the friendly chatbot that you can talk and get an answer from it. And it will do the SQL series. It will do the SQL queries for sorry, and it will actually rework your data and tell you exactly what to do. And after that, you can just click on it and have your normal Excel that is actualized and that you can understand because it's what you're working with since 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you ensure that the frontliners understand that AI will augment whatever they're doing instead of replacing them? Because a lot of the frontliners are afraid now of having AI to take over their jobs. So aside from the business side that you're talking about, and then the technical side that is challenging in implementing in the logistics industry, and then you have to talk to the frontliners too that is going to be part of augmenting whatever they do to become more efficient.
So, you know, I think it was Elon Musk that said that if you're moving data, AI will replace you. But if you're moving atom, AI is far away from replacing you. And it's coming from a guy that is trying to make robots in the day-to-day life and make
Hmm.
them work. I mean, every company that you can think about are trying to do robots. Amazon forefront, but DHL or any of these companies are trying to implement robots to replace human. I don't think that it will be soon. Um, he made some tests using basically a camera that is looking at a pile of goods, and you say to the AI, "Okay, take this and make it go like in a Tetris kind of way inside
Hmm.
a container." It's never as good as a guy that have been doing this for 10 years. Human beings are always faster, always better. And the AI say, okay, I can put 90% of your pile inside the container. A human being say, no worries, I can put 100%. And when you try to make a race between them two, human beings always work better. Maybe in 5, 10, 20 years, AI will do it better. But right now, no. AI, I think, will not replace the blue collars or the frontliner or the small worker in companies. AI is really good at replacing manager. This is what we see right now, because basically a manager is someone
Okay.
yes. Most of the time, a manager, someone that is looking at number, looking at information, reading reports, talking to the small guy, and making decision on this. AI is better and faster than any human to do that. But AI is not so good at doing the simple task. So for me, the frontliner are very safe from AI at the beginning, and manager are not. So basically, when you say that to a frontliner, most of the time at the beginning, they look at you like, where is the catch on what you're saying, you know? And if you take time to explain to them, okay, just tell me your day to day. What is the task that you're doing every day? So I'm doing X and Y, right? And you say to them, this AI can do it. And this AI can do it. This AI might be able to do it in 5 years. Manager, they will get replaced very fast.
Oh, that's very interesting
Yeah,
insight about you, that, instead of, the frontliners being afraid, it should be the middle managers, to
exactly.
should be afraid that AI will replace them. It's very, it's very nice take on that. And now, since this is a Christmas special, we are going to also talk about the traditional way of Santa Claus of logistics and efficiency. How does he manage to deliver all those toys to all the kids around the world in only 24 hours? So, what do you think? Do you think Santa Claus will be having a good advantage when he integrates AI into his delivery systems or logistics efficiency?
I think most people, when they think about what Santa Claus is doing, is delivering every toy for every children in 24 hours. Yes, but
Yes.
it's taking a year to plan this. Because if on the day of Christmas is deciding, okay, let's take this and this and this and this and getting to every children, it's not possible. What he need to do is forecasting for sure, because at the end of 1 year, he will need to have the data on what were the toys that were in this region and this one the most wanted, right? Is it Paw Patrol? Is it Barbie? Is it some robots? Is it bikes? Is it whatever, right? And you need also to look at trends, because this year it was this toy and next year might be something else. Because, for example, if you think about children that love Paw Patrol, right? This year it was the cop dogs that were the most wanted. But next year there is a new movie, and in it there is a new dog that is coming, and this will be released in July. So you can count on the fact that on December everybody wants this toy, right? So you need to have all this planification, and you need to know it months in advance. Like if on the 25th of December you deliver the toys, on the 26th of December you need to start thinking about what will be the next trend, and you need to adjust. So right now I think a lot of different elves are working on that, but tomorrow AI will be way better on that for sure.